The truth about HEX. Yes, baby dolls, there's been a lot of community drama because a lot of people trying to come at me for simply putting up a price chart. The truth is HEX versus Ethereum has round tripped 3.8 years, which basically means 3.8 years ago, if you just bought Ethereum, you have the exact same value in your portfolio as HEX, including PHEX and including the yield. But first, friends, I'm going to show you the positive side to this before we dive into what's happening because, look, I'm just trying to adapt for the bull market coming. I want to just challenge what we think are things guaranteed or sure in our mind. And the perspective of that is, well, if I see obvious signs of optimism, thrill, euphoria, I'm not going to be sitting there on my hands with 100% complacency at all. Let's look at the good news, friends. I've made this post here. I'm going to share it with you first. You see this green arrow here? See this green arrow, friends? This is where HEX would be if it was just one coin. One coin HEX. And I've actually got the chart here for you. So what I did is, I go, well, this is HEX versus Ethereum, all right? This is basically, like it's the ratio you got to look at. It's like, okay, Richard takes money in ETH, right? And does something with it that we're not allowed to know. Like, okay, we gave you our precious Ethereum. That's like, obviously I didn't participate, friends, but other people, that's what it is. We give you the precious Ethereum. What do we get in return? Okay, we get a coin. Okay, now that coin, we've taken all this risk outside of ETH that has to overperform. Now, here's the thing. We are looking at a snapshot in time, really. We're looking at a snapshot in time, and there's conditions here for you. But let's start, right? So this is where EHEX is today. Now, this is the thing, guys. I'm going to put a positive spin light on it, but the truth is you got to look at it from people outside of the ecosystem. People outside of the ecosystem, friends, they're not doing this log chart cope. You know they're not. They're doing this. Oh, they're looking at, okay, you failed. That's what they're saying. You failed. Okay, that's what they're saying. So you can't blame me. You've got to look at other people, man. You have to look at the people who haven't bought in yet. They're saying this thing has failed. What I'm doing is I'm showing you the ecosystem's actually doing well beneath the surface. But that chart is code. When you look at log charts, you know, like, oh, okay, because everything looks good on a log chart, right? Kind of like, except this, right? It's kind of funny enough. Now, it's actually, friends, it's not. This is like the first log chart I've seen looks bad. It's like you turning it down. That's why we need to get up here. Now, what I've done is this is where EHEX is today. Now, here's the thing. First, start with, some people might look at the next information I show you as cope. In terms of like, oh, you're coping. Of course, fine. But I want to show you this. Like, EHEX, friends, that's what most people are looking at. And it's on the linear chart. So even though I'm going to show you positive stuff, like the truth is though, read the comments from a lot of people. They say, I don't like what's going on and what happened because I was here for the code. I thought the game theory was enough. I thought the code and the founder and the leader was enough. I thought his decision making was not going to end up here. And I just want to tell you a few things. I've made thousands of videos to tell you the community is the asset, not the code. So if you're seeing this and you're saying like, man, how is your code worth anything when, because this is what they're doing, man. They're like, look at this. You are down minus 99% against Ethereum. In fact, you are down from May 2020, you are down minus 91% against ETH from May 2020. So 4 freaking years, 1,400 days. So I'm just going to tell you this. When you're looking at it from that perspective, code doesn't matter. All right. Now, a lot of people, they don't understand Metcalfe's law, so they think code does matter because it's got the best yield, the best is that. They believe. I know you see a lot of people, friends, talk about T-shares and all of these. Yeah, they're great features of the system. However, the people are the asset, not T-shares, not yield, and it's the people. So when we're looking at it from this perspective, just know that you need to add more people, and you know this. Bitcoin has 219 million people in the network. HEX only has like 200,000. Now, why did HEX go up so much at the start? It's because HEX started with like 5 to 10,000. That's why. And we get the square of the price, right, as the people come in. Now, when you're looking at it from this HEX ETH perspective, just know that I have marked here different points in time compared to different scenarios. All right, so look at this. This line is EHEX plus PHEX right now. So if you're looking at someone coming in, they look at combined HEX, it's still down here all the way down there. So like you are down from the top. And friends, everyone's looking at the top. They go, wait a minute, you haven't been able to recover. See, what I was telling you, friends, a year ago, I was telling you, look, we have to Like, if you want us to do your 1000x, you're telling everyone, dopamine dealers are saying, we're going to do 1000x, Hex has gone $5 to $10 and all these numbers, all right? I told you, my condition for that is, show me Hex can be 25 cents when Bitcoin's 60K. Show me. So today, Bitcoin has hit $64,000. Hex is still down 95%. All right, it's at 2.5 cents, not 25 cents. So it's 90% lower than what you thought. So I guess you might say, oh, well, you got to divide it by 10. Maybe. So that's basically one of my conditions. I never said I can't do it, ever. I've never said anything. I just said, look, the first step to show us you can do this is a big thrust up. Just like how for Hex, the first step you can do a 10,000x from the low was to do this big rally and recover up, right? In the Bitcoin halving year, which is where we are now. Now, there's still time. It could still happen. What I've also done is, if you see the next horizontal line is what your Hex ETH ratio is EHEX plus PHEX plus staked yield. And what I did was, I'm really generous, by the way. I gave you 200% extra yield. So 3x more coins. 3x in 3.8 years, which is huge inflation. I gave you that. And if you look at this, where it is today, you are still back at April 2020. You see that? April 2020. Now, here's the thing. The Hex ICO, so the adoption amplifier, friends, this is why it's like a bit crazy. The Hex adoption amplifier started like here. All right, started here. So you're like, whoa. You know what I mean? Yeah, it literally did. And yes, it went down and ticked down, but that's the ratio it started at. So really, your starting point from Hex, like from round trip total life, is that. Now, of course, there's bottom price charts here, but that's why I'm asking you, what's the difference between that bottom price and day one sack? That's all I'm just telling you. All I'm telling you is, okay, if we are going to ignore Hex adoption amplifier ICO equivalent price, then basically we should ignore PulseChain, PulseX sacrifice price. Basically, you're worth zero now. You are, you're with one with the market. That's how I'm just interpreting it. It's not like a lot of people, I know you get it wrong, right? A lot of people get it wrong because they just say it's good or it's bad or it's this or it's that. No, it's just what information can we gather from this to just try help round our decisions. Now, here's the thing, man. I already know, okay, PulseChain and PulseX are cycle 1 coins. The market oversold them at the lows. Everybody said Hex is going to be the premium store of value. And I said, well, it's the same community members. And guess what? They're choosing Pulse and PulseX on average more than Hex as a cycle 1 coins. And that's what's basically been happening. Now, I don't know if it's going to continue forever. The ratio might not disconnect forever, but you can use this information to help basically fine tune yourself. You know what I did as well, friends? So that's why I'm going to show you. I showed you the biggest positive part at all is if we kept it all as one coin with no Pulse or PulseX dilution, you are all the way up here. Now, I know you say, oh, all the way up here, you're actually still down 73% against ETH, but hey, it's still good. It's still all right. So your chart, you don't actually have this bottom chart here. You are up around here. See that? So you've done this. Sweet. Which actually ain't that bad because it means, well, here's the thing, friends. Another way to look at it is if Hex does a 3.7x from today, it's actually the top, right? It's actually the top. But, a lot of people see tops as like, no, they're bullish at tops. Well, just think about what you're saying there. You're bullish at things where it's really, really rare for things to break. So that's why we're all betting on this coin re-breaking its all-time high against ETH, which it's the same as Bitcoin, by the way, because the ratios didn't move. And that's basically what you're banking on. If you didn't bank on that, you basically be all in on something else, okay? So that's why I just showed you. Some people got offended when I put this down. Now, here's the reality of the situation. So that was the positive spin. Remember, I told you, look, if it was one coin and you earned all the yield and you just did what was said, you're actually killing it. You're actually killing it. If it was one coin. We don't live in that world, though. We had a problem. The Ethereum gas fees, okay? So I'm going to quickly tell you. Yes, we had Pulse and PulseX. Now, the narrative part, the next part's going to be the spin that you're going to hear from people. But I'm just going to give you the truth. So the truth is, friends, Richard did not think it would dilute. In all of his estimates, he thought you'd have more value. We did dilute, though, which means everybody's value got crushed because the same people coming in. So it makes sense, right? We're meant to have the world's biggest airdrop onboarding people. It didn't onboard anybody. There was no big famous type of like everybody coming in for yield and stuff. And I already explored this in the videos. I'll play some gentle angel music for you as well. So why did this happen though? Well, the thing was, Richard based his world's biggest airdrop off these forked coins. However, something he miscalculated because he's human, is he miscalculated the amount of shit coins that would appear, pop up like mushrooms. Because friends, back in 2020, 2021, people made a poop coin and it would last a cycle. So he probably thought, okay, it lasted a full cycle then, let's go again now. The market changed. We have extreme end of times complacency stuff from the economy into crypto now, which means people make a coin, it's dead in 48 hours. And people are buying that new coin. Friends, you know Dog with a Hat? Dog with a Hat is up 33,000x. And I know people don't believe me when I say that. No, it actually is up 33,200x. And it has $760 million of market cap. It has $8.2 million of liquidity. It has literally as thick liquidity as like, HEX, EHEX. It has more liquidity than EHEX pretty much on the Ethereum chain. So, you can't just say, oh, that's fake, whatever. And it's a new coin and a Cardano 33,000x. So just his 10,000x narrative, it can't see, friends, get diluted away when people just come in for that price stuff. So I'm just showing you the reality of the situation here. Now remember, so I spoke about Richard's kind of miscalculation with the world's biggest airdrop. It was kind of like, well, we expected more people to come in. We thought it'd have more value because we thought more people would come in. They didn't. Now we have an exponentially larger amount of chains. Everybody's made a layer 2 chain. There's like 4 launches coming in the next 3 months. There's 36 layer 2 chains coming this year, and there's already 40 that exist. So you're going to have 70 layer 2 chains. Everything's diluted. The most powerful part about all of it is none of them have cults. None of them are building communities, okay? Richard Hart has built a community. So despite all of these, you're like, okay, so this is why it's friends, you're going to look back at this time and go, man, at all these chains, how did this even work? Because in terms of like, how did people even know you're going to pick? Well, now you know. We have a super, super strong cult. HEX, see friends, HEX 99% down and people are still here. It tells you something. Yes, people are upset, but they're not going away. It's a sticky cult. That's what you want. Being a cult is an asset. They're not moving around, okay? Remember, Dr. Hexologist is not going to give a prostate exam to anybody in the XRP army, okay? He's our personal doctor. Now, remember, that is Richard's kind of miscalculation, but you don't even call it a miscalculation because it's just human. Like, could you have predicted that? We go, hey, in the next bull market, before any of the other real coins move, we're going to have all these seasons where Pepe and all these other stuff runs and they have 24 to 48 hour life cycles. Crazy, right? So all the P tickers are boring. P-Uni, P-Link, P-Colt and stuff. But people still trade them, but there's a lot of bots and stuff. It's not as... Remember, Dog with a Hat, man. Look at all the volume and stuff went in. Now, that is that part. Let's move on. Now, that is what we thought would happen, right? People will say, well, what actually happened was we had the Pulse and PulseX dilution effect. And the dilution effect basically split the pie. We did not... So we have a pizza pie, friends. We wanted to make the pie bigger, and we still believe we'll make the pie bigger by the end of the bull market. And we will make the pie bigger, probably. But then we didn't. We just cut the pie pieces up. And when you cut the pie pieces, not everyone wins the biggest slice, right? So PulseChain won the biggest slice. PulseX won the next slice, and then HEX got crushed. HEX had like a net exit at it pretty much. And that's how you see this big round trip. That's what the round trip tells you. It tells you, wow, you round trip from your own community. Like that's crazy. That's what you see in this actual visualization on the chart where the red arrow is. All right, that's pretty much it. You get to see that, and that's a long time, friends. If you like, look at this, you go, wow. So even in this middle line here, you put it here, that's what it is. That's where you get to now. I can even change it. So it is the red line. So the red line puts it there. But there's a lot of things that went along with that too. So you had the dilution effect. So that, even though it's round tripped, you were diluted. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say, okay, when Thrill and Euphoria are here, should you like enter big stakes and stuff? And should you just stay complacent? Well, that's why I'm saying, well, look, I don't think it'll drop as low next time because there's no Pulse and PulseX to dilute. There isn't. It won't drop as low next time. But you do got to think about, well, now that they do exist, does this mean the upside is limited? Does that mean? Because that's actually what happened to XRP, friends. Because I heard, I'm sorry to say this, I'm just going to say that there's a bit of cope in XRP community. For example, I remember in one of Blockchain Backer's videos, he's measuring XRP versus ETH or other coins, heaps of other coins, and he was championing, right? I remember now, he was talking about Solana rally. He goes, Solana rallied 1200%. He goes, but it was down so much, that's why it did it. XRP only dropped 84%. So that's why it never had like a 12x rally. And I'm like, you can't think about it like that, friends, because that means you're missing out on everything. It's like, oh, go buy gold. You know, oh, those other crypto are rallying because they dropped 50 to 70%. You know, gold hasn't dropped that. So yes, with Solana, it was a newer cycle coin. It did like a 1000x, right? So in XRP, you only got from 30 cents to like $1.80 or whatever it was. You got 6x, and then Solana, you got 1000x from those points in time from March 2020. So XRP from their launch, yeah, think about that, 6x versus 1000x. So you know, that's a big thing to think about this, and that's how we can use this with, for example, with HEX in the future going on. Well, if the dilution effect is here and it's shown in the chart, what does that mean for us going forward? And the truth is, it basically saying, well, the game is, okay, earning the yield, staying staked, you own the t-shirt. That's what the game within that system is. But then, like, I'm just telling you, from new people looking at it, they're like, all right, how come Pulse and PulseX is going up? You know, so that's, I'm just telling you, friends, that's why the community, they're seeing, you're basically seeing him pivot too much, too fast, because he made something do a 10,000x. Everyone called him a god. Never called anyone god, friends, but they called him a god. And so everyone's revered him. So they go, well, this god can do no wrong. And then kind of shattering today, he says, I got the bottom wrong. That hurts. Also, I saw this from a comment. This is really, really true. They said, why is Richard farming on DeFi middleman third-party projects for yield? Why? It seems like a desperate move, and he's like going against his principles. It's like, I read that, I was like, crap, man, like he remembers the talking points. You remember the whole reason to be in HEX was that you don't need anything else. There's no middlemen in HEX. We're just earning native yield. We're going to keep going up forever. That the price is going up forever, and you don't need a touch. So that's what he's doing, right? He's earning 140 million yield, 140 million DAI is basically staked. So he's earning like $800,000 per month or whatever in like one of the platforms. So that's a lot, friends. You got to think about that. That's a lot to put in a DeFi project here and there. He says, you know, there's risky, but think about he's using the fund. So effectively, what the community, I knew this would happen, by the way. If you watch my videos from a year ago, I said he's going to pivot along the way because we are early Bitcoin. Bitcoin is peer-to-peer digital cash. And then they change the store of value and go, everyone agrees on the new narrative. But there's going to be growing pains because people from day one, they're never going to forget that. They're like, but I came because you were perfect. I came because you called the Bitcoin, the HEX top. The Bitcoin top. I came because we did a 10,000x. I came because we had the best performing price chart. That's what I know what you guys are saying. The OG HEX Maxis, you're so loyal to that, and that's okay. Stay loyal. I'm not telling you not to stay. I'm just showing you. I'm showing you a price chart. That's all I'm showing you. Like that's actually of everything. I'm not telling you to change anything. I don't really. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm just telling you, hey, there's a price chart. Hey, the market is choosing these ratios in a certain way. Hey, the diluted effect is here. You know what's interesting, friends? I'll just tell you, right? Hand on heart. Do you know that last year in June, when something started going wrong, okay, I'm going to show you, all right? Last year in June, so right here, okay, look at this. So, by the way, the corrupt SEC was down here, all right? It was down here. So, we had not even seen corrupt SEC. This is all the chart was doing, all right? There you go. Corrupt SEC was not here. This chart was happening. As we were going down, I was like, why are we going down? So I did my research here. I was the one who alerted everybody for free. Thank you very much. For free, I told them, look, we're not selling off. We just diluted. Okay, so it's funny, right? What the stuff I'm saying today is considered FUD, yet back then it was considered bullish. I'm saying the exact same thing consistently. Okay, it's just, I know, but people think I have an emotional bipolar thing. No, they do. It's you do, friends. You got to think you are the crowd. The crowd is like, always going up and down. That's what it is, okay? You got to remember who's the consistent one who's been here the whole time. Think about that. So that's what I was basically telling everyone. I go, no, this thing, it sounds like cope, but it's actually bullish. It diluted. Now, you remember, I was hung, friends. I was publicly hung on the cross because what I was basically telling everyone was Richard Hart was wrong. We didn't add value. We lost value. And then, two, he basically got it wrong. So that's why it was like, whoa. You know, friends, I didn't even want to say dilution. You know the word dilution, friends? I was hung for that word. Stop saying we diluted. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. People saying, no, it's weak hands capitulating. Richard knows what he's doing. Shake it. I was being at time and time. Go back and read the comments. Some of you knew those comments. You probably remember yourself. Okay, I forgive you. You remember yourself saying that to me. And I'm reading this like, man, he's got no idea. Who are you, Habib? Who are you? Friends, I'm wearing a Pokemon hat, right? So I just got to remind you, I was literally upside down, skinned out. How dare you say not dilution, whatever. He knows what he's doing, etc. And then I guess the kicker was he basically soft-fudded HEX down here, if you remember. He basically said, well, looks like the market has chosen PHEX. And that's when everybody went into a tailspin because HEX was going down as a ratio, not because everyone thought PHEX would go up to like $1. That's what people thought. And that it'd go break the high because it's like the premier store of value. Instead, everything just got obliterated and HEX got obliterated more. So these types of events, I know what it feels like, friends. It's like you're the perfect image of a god. You're like, wait a minute, he's human after all. But yeah, man, it's just markets, friends. It's a community and there's a village and there's a leader. I knew this from day one, friends. I've met and I've known I've met people who won't even reveal their true identity to me, who like are billionaires. Okay, obviously I won't go into detail about that, but yeah, people literally that paranoid won't talk to me here and there, and I know how they think. And trust me, these people, friends, they do get these things wrong. But what makes them special is not that they're always right. That's not what makes them special. That's why I'm like long with you. It's that no matter what you throw at them, they find the optimal path. No matter what it is, no matter how difficult you make it, no matter what life throws at them, no matter if things go up, down, black swan, these people know the correct path and they don't have to think long at all. Me and you, I'm peanut brain. I've got to think for like, oh, how do I tie my fluffy slipper shoelace, which I don't have? It takes like 72 hours. With them, literally 2 seconds. They think, you know what's interesting? Shout out to Miguel, right? You know, so Mr. DollarCostCrypto, he said when he was in Miami with Richard, he goes, even the way Richard thinks, he goes, okay, which restaurant should we go to? Or what should we do tonight? He said he just watched the guy in the cab think like, should we go here or here? And he watched his like brain just go, what's this world going to look like? What's that world going to look like? He goes back and forth. He goes, okay, that one's better because, and he has logic A, B, and C. It's a very logical brain. You know, I know none of you guys knew that, right? Go back, watch Miguel or whoever mentioned that. So this, when I heard these types of stuff, I was like, okay, no matter how bad it gets, no matter what happens, so friends, that's all right as well. I've told you the controversial thing as well, that it basically kind of implies with all the yield farming that he's missed the bottom. Actually, not even imply. He told you. Basically, I missed the bottom. I didn't got the bottom right. And, you know, I was kind of like thinking that he was going to deploy that 1 million. He was going to deploy the 600 million DAI and buy ETH with it. Now he has ETH. It can't be shut off or locked out from him. And he gets a stake and vampire off him. And if you want to know just the quick calculations, if ETH goes to 10 to 12K, then you would have like $12 billion sitting there in collateral. And if that yield is rotating 3,300 ETH every month into the ecosystem and then deploying more of it, yeah, you probably would have seen from today like a 150, I think, to 300x. I forgot what it is. It'd be 500 billion to a trillion non-origin address. It could have been. Obviously, if ETH goes that high and he deployed it, it could have been. But we don't have that now. Now, I guess his emergency plan is, he goes, well, since I missed the bottom, the next plan is to do this with the DAI. So, but here's the thing, man. A lot of people are saying 30x is a failure. On what planet is 30x a failure? Habibs, we went through this, friends. You know, if you have 6 months of living costs into Richard Hart and he gives you a 30x, your 6 months of living costs gives you 15 years of living now. You literally get 15 years of living for buying an imaginary internet Ponzi currency on crypto, right on the internet. You literally get to click some buttons and wait some time. And now you have 15 years of living, all right? But, you know, no one wants to hear those number 15 and 30. What are you talking about? I'm here for the 1,000. So I completely understand where you're coming from. So, friends, I remember these like the back of my hand. I was like, man, you know, friends, it still stings me to this day. I'm like, what? You guys, the same people who crucified me for saying Richard diluted the ecosystem, all right? The same people saying that, now they're just saying, oh, we diluted. That's the excuse now, because like the prevailing example. That's why it's the truth though. But having said all of that, you have all the pieces of the puzzle. The truth is somewhere in the middle. So you got, oh, he's not a god, clearly. And on the other hand, you have, well, he's not a god, so the bulls get tapered down. And then we're not going to zero, man. This is the reason why. So I'm going to leave you with this. It was a necessary sacrifice. Vitalik put up the gas fees, man. HEX could not survive on Ethereum long term. Ethereum's whole idea was fix the layer 2 chains and we'll stay premier expensive. We don't want any junk transactions on us. We just want big whales. That's Ethereum's main game. That's why they still haven't done sharding yet, all right? So that's basically where it is. And Richard Gretz could see that. That's why, friends, you're long him. That's why you're basically long. I know I'm telling you the story of how it's all happening. I know you expected 1,000x a straight line. I know, because he paints that picture, because he's got to get people in. So now you get to see, right? Where was that truth in the middle? The truth in the middle, the balance is the sacrifice had to be done because we needed cheaper HEX, we needed the community to continue, and we needed the ecosystem to build. So the only way for HEX to keep, I guess, getting new people in is if there's things for other people to do, because HEX is by default, it's like it's slowing down. Everything that births, friends, yes, it's new, but then they eventually hit a slowing down point. That's why it does explain, right? Why did Richard make Pulse and PulseX 2 coins? Why didn't he just call everything HEX Chain and HEX Coin and do HEX buy and burn? Why didn't he do that? It's probably he just looked at the real world. He probably looked at both worlds. He goes, you know, Pulse and PulseX have this cycle 1 advantage narrative, and then when we come to the next thing after that, we'll figure something else out. That's why you long him. He probably doesn't even know what he's going to do in that long thing, but when it comes, it's probably going to be executed so well. You think, wow, you knew all along. Okay, so once again, you know, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Luckily for you, though, I can't seem to find this friend wearing a Pokemon hat right now who told you, literally at the bottom of the bear market, just buy more, man. Just get long the depression, buy more, because it's not going to turn out how you think. The story, fairy tale, friends, we're literally sitting in the cinema seat and the director's throwing some, like, weird, you know, weird mud wrestling orgy scene, and then there's, like, people sitting in a church, and then there's a circus, and then there's someone murdering someone in an alleyway. You're like, bro, look, whoa, what's this story? You know what I mean? Like, that's crypto, man. Especially that's crypto. Especially that's life itself. That's why, though, after spending 18 hours a day going through absolutely everything, when I put all the pieces together like an absolute schizo, which I am, I told you, oh my gosh, friends, it came apparent to me that you don't even need to know the story. You don't need to know how high everything goes. You don't need to know how long everything goes. You don't need to know any event. All you need to know is when people are crying, you're buying. That's all you need to know. I promise you that. Davey Soy Hoffman crying. People crying, depressed, saying it's completely over. Depression, buy in the depression. You're buying from pessimists. You're buying from them. The pessimists are exiting. Okay? That's all you had to do. That's my whole premise of even why I'm being here. That's why, friends, this next part of the bull market, everyone gets really excited, but I don't like it because now I'm gonna have to do some disgusting prostitution stuff with you. Where me and you, friends, we literally have to prostitute myself. I'm gonna have to go down to like 4-hour charts on these coins because you don't have the depression price anymore. And I'm like, well, clearly you're in the middle diddle zone. You're not in the earliest 10%. So now you have to buy here. And if we go down here, you're basically wrecked. But guess what? That distance is a minus 60%. So are you comfortable losing minus 60% on your bullet? And it doesn't come back, by the way, because that means you got to rotate to something else. Are you comfortable with it? See that yucky game? These are for the cucks, friends. These are for the soy drinkers. You're not a soy drinker. You've been here the whole time. What I tell you, you just buy. Okay? All this information, you know it's true. You know it's true. I'm still long. Are you? Like, subscribe, bell button, or catch you soon.